Okay, I made a bit of a dog's dinner of that background. So it's because I'm not an artist. Some of you guys will create stuff so much better than anything that I could ever do. And yeah, that'd be great if you could do. But what I can do is now show you the whole point of this background. I'm going to go back to scene 1, and we're now going to start to build the whole thing. What are we going to do? Well, I'm going to start off by doing a nice simple one. This is layer 1. I'm going to relabel this layer, and I'm going to call it background. Okay? Oh, call it background. Background. And what I'm going to do is that I'm going to drag in my GRP background, and I'm going to place it there. Now, I want to make sure that it's in the right position, so I'm going to put 0 there. And I'm going to put a 0 here. And what will happen now is if we actually were to view the animation, we get something that looks a little bit like this, and we can see the top of the tree. How fantastic is that? What I'd like is this. I'd like to have a little owl starting off, and it's going to drop onto the branch. But instead of making the owl just drop down, I'm actually going to make the background move up. So I'm going to do that quite slowly. Let's say now, if you think about this logically, we've got to do a 30-second animation. So I'm thinking I need to spend about 5 seconds on the owl, 5 seconds on the cat, the dog, the sheep, and there'll be some text coming up in between. So yeah, 5 seconds to drop that owl down. I'm going at 12 frames a second. So logic says that I want to insert a keyframe here on the background. And at this point, I would want my tree branch here to have come in view. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move this over to the side, then I'm going to move that up like so. If you think about logic, that tree branch, is it going to appear? No, let's move it up with the arrows a little bit. It's going to appear at this point. Let's do that like so. Now, because I want this back in the place, I can put on the X, let's put it back to 0. And what we're going to do is at this point, we're going to press enter, of course. At this point, I'm just going to motion tween this background. So let's motion tween that. Let's watch the animation. And what we find is that, takes a moment, the tree slowly comes into view. And it stops at that point and loops back, because that's the end of the animation. But what I want to do now is I'd like now to make my little owl drop down onto the tree. So, how do I do that? Well, I'm going to start with a new layer. All the different components that we're going to use on separate layers. It gets very messy. In fact, it's impossible to do it if you try and do it all on one layer. Well, I say impossible. I'm not a Flash expert, but as far as I can see, it's impossible. I'm going to add a new layer to the animal. Oh, for some reason I did click twice, Tim. And I'm going to make sure that I name everything up. So I'm going to call it Owl Move, I think we shall do. And what's going to happen is on the first frame of the animation, at this point, I would like my owl to be just off the top of the canvas. Maybe his feet. No, it's just off the top. The problem is I can't see the stage. Check this out. Background. Here's an eye. Let's just not display that. Now, let's take my owl. So it's MC Owl. And let's drop him and put him there. And we'll hold down Shift to scale him. And let's just put him where we think it's going to be roughly in place. I'm going to Control plus and zoom in a bit here. And the whole point is that we want the owl at frame 60 to be on this branch. So first of all, I know that if I go back to frame 1 on the animation, my owl needs to have moved to the right. Let's go here actually. Let's move the owl over so he's there. Okay, so my owl starts there at the moment in time. That's his position. Now, that's where he's going to start from, off the top. Let's get rid of that back canvas for a minute, off the top of the canvas. Now, I want the owl to drop down onto the canvas. So, at frame 60, I'm going to insert a keyframe. And at this point, the owl is going to move down so he sits on that branch. But I want the owl to actually move, so I'm going to motion tween that one as well. And now what happens at the beginning of our animation, if we press Control Enter, we get something that looks a little bit like this. Here comes the owl blinking away, and he stops, unfortunately because it's on a loop, but you can see that he's going to stop where he meets that branch. Okay, so that's our basic first part of our animation, and to be honest with you, I'm going to stop this video here and give you a chance to do that, and then we'll move on to putting some text in. So off you go, you have a look at doing that now.